Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar session hosted by Magna Infotech Career Services. MICS is a learning platform aimed at bridging the gap between one's expertise and growing industry expertise. The prime objective is to provide IT skills training to individuals, aligning them to the skill sets that are most sought by organizations today, while also preparing them for future industry trends. This webinar provides a brief overview of Python. Python has been widely accepted as the programming language of choice for high-level data processing because of its no-mess syntax, easy readability, and easy comprehension. Its numerous data structures, classes, nested functions, iterators, the flexible function calling syntax, and extensive libraries making it opt for data analyzing, extracting information, and making informed business decisions. I take the pleasure of introducing the speaker for today's session, Mr. Ravi. He is an expert in the field of Python. He has 9+ years of industry experience along with 5+ years of experience as a trainer. His field of expertise is Python, machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, NLP, and data structures. Thank you. Now hand over this call to Mr. Ravi.
Hi, very good morning to one and all. I'm Dr. Ravi Changle, and I'll be taking the session further. And before I take up the session further, let me just have a sanity check. Are you able to hear me properly over there? So you can use your chat box and you can get me. All right. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Alright, so let me start the session, right? So what exactly is the entire aspects, we are going to cover up today? That's going to be the major aspect in terms of, the power of Python we are talking about, right? So Python is getting nowadays, it's not only a kind of buzzword, it's becoming very much extensible with any kind of platform, any of the package, right? So therefore, we'll be talking much more about how exactly we can get tuned to Python and how we can use the particular services from Magna Infotech, right? So I'm Dr. Ravi Changle again from Magna Infotech, and I'll be taking up the session forward. Before I take the session forward, let me have a kind of briefing about myself and what exactly I'm into. So basically, I am having over 10 years of experience, in this particular area of data analytics and machine learning, data science, etc. Right? And I'm getting some of the queries there that they cannot hear, right? So Team Magna, please fix up the issue. Some people are not able to hear anything. That's the query over there. Anyway, so coming back to the kind of the experience I have. So I have begun my career in the area of SAS programming first of all, and apart from that I had done my doctorate in econometric modeling. That led me into data science, and I had completed my doctorate in 2014. Thereafter I was working on the different platforms like R language. I have used the Python language for machine learning and data analytics, right? And apart from that, I also been developing some of the projects for the clients in the area of stock price predictions, and I'm working for some of the Swiss bank projects, basically to create chatbot kind of mechanism for their financial advisory services. So there are so many aspects which I have taken care of, and I had been a part of Indian Institute of Management Indore, and I had been certified in predictive modeling by IIM Bangalore as well. So therefore, I have kind of the understanding in terms of how there is a paradigm shift in analytics aspects, and today we are talking about the language which is basically doing wonders in the area of analytics, data science, web development, software testing, and etc. So there are so many aspects, and the expertise area, if I talk about, it's a data science, Python, machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, and natural language processing. So this is about the briefing about myself. If you talk about the agenda of today's session, we'll be talking about what exactly is the Python and what are the major applications of Python software. If I talk about Python related trends, then how Python is beating the market, and what are the other languages which are further developing, and we can go for a Google trend kind of thing. Apart from that, who can join this particular program? This would be the agenda of the next, that is the next agenda which we'll be going to have. And apart from that, we'll be having the MICS Python certification training program. So briefing about the same would be taken care. Apart from that, what are the benefits of enrolling at MICS would be the agenda. And lastly, we will be discussing some of the projects which can be taken up further for your learning, right? So let me start the aspect, right? How exactly so what we can do is we can have a kind of understanding of Python first. What exactly is Python? So Python is nothing else but a kind of language which is being developed, right? It has object-oriented, we can say that it's going to be object-oriented language, and most of the people, you know what is a object-oriented programming, and it's what is the procedure-oriented programming kind of thing. So therefore, let's see that how exactly we can differentiate object-oriented versus the procedure-oriented kind of thing. So if I say Python is an interpreted high-level programming language with dynamic semantics, and therefore I can say that Python is going to build up the particular base for your web development. I said it is very much apt for your aspects into, say, data science. It is very much apt for your analytics aspects. Like we have some of the libraries like Pandas, we have NumPy and Matplotlib for visualizations and all. We also have some of the libraries which are working with testing kind of mechanisms like Selenium. We have the web development libraries in Python, that's going to be, say, Django. And apart from that, we have so many libraries which are there like TensorFlow, Keras, which help us to get into deep learning kind of aspects. Apart from that, if I talk about some of the major aspects why we go for Python, that's going to be the most simple language, we can say. And multi-liners, the problem of multi-liner coding, which was there in Java and C++, now they are being limited to a single line of function. So therefore Python is developed like anything, and it has been working on every aspect. It gets easy compatibility with the PlayStation, it gets easy compatibility with your MacBook, it gets compatibility with your any kind of Windows operating system. So therefore you can what I can say is, if I talk about Python, it's going to be highly interpreted language, and it's going to be high-level programming language, right? So we can get into so many aspects like that. And if I go on in, discussing what exactly is the benefit of Python, it will be never-ending kind of thing. So the applications of Python are basically in the area of web scraping. So I think everybody is aware that we are in the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. And this Industrial Revolution 4.0 talks about the revolution in the area of Internet of Things, in the area of soft computing, in the area of big data framework, in the area of, say, cyber physical interface. So therefore, web scraping comes the first one, the criteria wherein I can get into the kind of AI mechanism or the artificial intelligence mechanism, because most of the data sets or most of the cases or the web development aspects has to be there for the web development aspects would be used for getting the kind of data set on my platform. So what I do, I go for a web scraping. Web scraping is nothing else but getting the particular things connected to from the website, and then further using this particular information for our data analytics. That's good. It could be said I can gather the data from social media networks. I can get the data from the Bloomberg. I can get the data from World Bank, and I can now process this particular data set so that I can get into the kind of next aspect of my data science, that could be a machine learning approach or using a kind of AI approach basically. So if I say now, Python is also basically used for your software testing mechanisms, and run testing, and this kind of testing could be automated using Selenium package, which I already told you. And apart from that, we can also have Django, which is used for your further development, that is web development aspects. We can program Python, and it's going to be very easy for you, the exercises, if you talk about the integration of Django and the Python. If I talk about data analysis is now achievable like anything, because the if I talk about this data analysis part, earlier we used to have some structured data only. Now we have unstructured data, and this unstructured data, if I talk about, it's a huge data set, and I call it big data. And big data is basically that particular huge data set where I'm talking about. It could be which could be in zettabytes or say terabytes, and this huge data sets could be now stored on different platforms, right? I can have Hadoop interface, I can have a PySpark kind of thing. Apart from that, I also can process directly the things into the Power BI platform. I can get the data collected from different servers, can have the storage for the database, and now can process the analysis part using Python programming easily. Alright, so therefore it helps me to get into data analysis. So that's another aspect which we can work upon in Python environment. If I talk about the TensorFlow or such other kind of libraries which we are talking about, so it's majorly working in the terms of artificial intelligence. And the artificial intelligence basically is nothing else. It's again subdivided into three parts. It could be the artificial general intelligence, it could be artificial super intelligence, or it could be artificial narrow intelligence. So it's now narrow, super, and all this kind of things, general intelligence, are depending upon to what extent I am getting the interference of humans over there. So in super intelligence, I am talking about the entire system, wherein I'm developing a system which is entirely under the control of the machine, right? If I talk about narrow intelligence, a bit part of day-to-day activities could be automated. That I am going for this kind of activity. But in kind of general intelligence, what I talk about, I am superseding the human aspects, wherein I can't get into reinforcement learning by myself. Therefore, because I have to sit on the system, I have to watch the huge data sets over there, which is beyond my capacity. Therefore, I would like to have a kind of interface wherein I can ask my machine, I can ask my system to understand the data sets and then take the decisions upon that. So therefore, artificial intelligence, if I talk about, can be used very well by having the application of Python environment. Alright, so I think any doubts till here? Dear audience, you have any kind of query till now? Okay, then what we'll do, we'll have the kind of queries in the end, and thank you so much. We can have the queries in the end, and we can then proceed further. Thank you so much. And next. So why there is a demand of Python, we have been continuously discussing that we should get into this kind of certification programs, but what exactly is making this Python environment and the Python libraries and the Python language basically the most demanded language as of now? Apart from that, we have certain languages which are also developing like Julia and other. But why there is a demand for Python, right? So these are some of the trends, these are some of the trends from across the globe, right? Regarding the kind of aspects, we can see that now 78% of the kind of hits we get is of Python only out of the entire trends which we get, right? So we can see that the percentage of the matching jobs posting, if you talk about how exactly the jobs are being identified for the kind of Python environment and how exactly they are matched up. So therefore you can see that this is the entire aspects are coming to be somewhere around 0.78%. That's going to be the kind of exact matching of your the profiles which you would like to work upon. So therefore, if I want to get into kind of trend analysis for my Python aspects, I can get a kind of hit algorithm for that, and you can use Google Trend aspects, basically which language is basically in used at what level across the globe, right? So therefore, what you can do is we can again get into the kind of environment of Python, and we can see the trends across, right? How exactly the Python language has been developed and how it's being now used over the entire world, right? And to me, if I say most of if we say who are using Python language, these are people who are data scientists basically. So data scientists are using Python language more than any other language which they prefer. And if I talk about R, basically the academicians or the people who are more into data analytics, not into machine learning kind of thing, they are more into R language, right? And apart from that, we have Ruby, we have Perl, we have PHP developer, and we have SAS even. So therefore, if you talk about the kind of matching principle, you can see that Python is justifying that particular aspect, right? So therefore, we can say that it's better, to get into the kind of understanding of the system and the language procedures. If you check out the interest over time from 2012, right? So November 2012 to the 2017 we have this kind of growth rate, right? For this the kind of the data from Google Trends, right? And Google Trends show you the hits, and the value of your hits is from 0 to 100, and therefore you can see that it's continuously hitting across the globe, right? And this particular data set is of the entire worldwide surfing of Python language on this Google search engine, right? So therefore we can see that it's continuously picking up, right? And after 2012 it has picked up, and the sole reason behind this particular event, was the article which was being published by Harvard Business School, right? In their magazine, that's Harvard Business Review. So therefore, they have termed this particular data scientist to be the job of the 21st century, and it's justifying how exactly this particular article turned out the things. And not only that, because in this period big data has been developed, and we are seeing the kind of advent of Industry Revolution 4.0. Overall, if we say that 2012 was the period, we can just make it that we are having such kind of aspects into our Python programming that it's giving continuously hits across the globe on a day-to-day basis, right? You can also just check it out. You go to Google and type Google Trends over there, and in Google Trends you can now see, you just simply get into the search box and simply write Python over there, and you can get into the recent trends as well, right? And also we can compare some of the other programming languages over there, so you have a comparison also for the hits algorithm over there. Anyway, so this is kind of trend which we can see that Python is having, and there's a kind of demand, as per the salary trends. If you check it out, so you can see that data scientists, software engineers, senior software engineers, basically they are having this particular salary range. So if I talk about the kind of salary, which the average salary for a data scientist is starting is an average salary, because they're having a kind of 8,30,111. So this kind of package you can get readily if you are a data scientist. If you are a software engineer, you can have a salary in the range of say 546 to 98. Apart from that, if you are a senior software engineer, you can have such kind of average salary as 9 lakh something. So therefore you can get into this kind of job profiles wherein the salary ranges are from 5 lakhs to say 5.5 lakhs to 9 lakhs something. Apart from that, if you can just check it out, what is the year of experience. So if you have this particular year of experience, if you are having less than 1 year, I mean you are a fresher even, so then also you can grab somewhere around 4.5 package, right? And if I talk about 1 to 4 years of experience, it now increases to say 6 lakhs across. And if you have 5 to 9 years, you can definitely make it into 11 lakhs something. Alright, so this is kind of the trends which are there in terms of salary out there, right? So these are the general aspects when we talk about how exactly we should get into this kind of learning. Now the thing which I was about to tell you was this only, that you should learn Python, and basically why you should learn Python. That could be the agenda, right? So why you should learn Python, and who should learn Python? These are the two agendas right over there. So if I say why I should particular command on any of the language, what is the reason behind it? The thing is that if you are having a kind of skill set and you get money for that, you can be termed as a professional. I repeat, if you are having a particular skill set and you get money for that, you can become a professional. So therefore you see that this professional attitude of yours can bring in the gains for you. So therefore you can learn any kind of language or any kind of technology or any kind of technique. So therefore if you just want to get money, develop a skill and earn that. That's it. But if you want to, but this particular thing is subject to only the professionalism, right? So you will be only a professional at that particular juncture, and you will miss out something. What I want to say is another thing, that if you have a skill set, but if you like that particular skill set, it would be far better. Earlier what I said, you have a skill set, alright, and you earn for that, so you are a professional. If I say that you are loving that particular skill set which you have, and you have a skill set, you get money for that, and that is the world's requirement, so that means you get this utmost satisfaction in your job, whatever you do, or any kind of work which you perform. So therefore these four factors are very much important to decide upon any career, to get the ultimate satisfaction. What we do in our life is basically to get into the self-actualization kind of thing, that you should be satisfied with yourself, and you should be convinced at least by within yourself that yes, you are done something. And for whom you are doing it? First of all, you are doing it for family, for yourself, for your society, and for your country. So therefore, you can increase your dimensions. When you talk about such kind of things. If you are having a social motive, you can get into artificial intelligence and machine learning using Python, and then you can create solutions to target the global problems. You can support United Nations to get into these kind of aspects. So you can also work out on some of the aspects which are very much a fit for the business. If you are more into this kind of passionate games for making money or minting money out of that, so you can do that. Apart from that, if you just want to have your skill set, you just want to get a job, I said that you can be a professional, and professional person will be having a skill set, will be getting money for that, but I don't know whether they love the job or they don't love it. So that particular factor will be working upon when you learn something, that the mechanism that you like that particular thing, you love that particular thing, and the task which you perform. Apart from that, there is one more thing. If that particular task is not required by the world, you'll be out of the box. So out of the kind of scene. So therefore, you need to understand that I also need to contribute to the world by creating the value system in the society. How to create value system in the society? You need to then understand what exactly I can do for my society in terms of a company or in terms of an individual, basically, right? So if you are a company, you can solve so many problems of the market. You can just trace out some of the major challenges which you are facing. We are having challenges in agriculture. We are having the challenges in communications. We are having challenges in the education system. We have the challenges over there in your banking financial segment. So anywhere you can see that kind of mechanism, and you can employ your techniques over there. And Python works the best because this is the global language, basically, you can say. And now most of the big fours, also they use Python environment basically to program this area. I should not say, but I have interviewed so many people out there, and I have seen that most of the people are now shifting from the software packages which are available, right, and which are charging a lot to the corporates, and now they are switching over to the freely available Python language because it's having a flows mechanism. It's free, it's flexible, and it's open source, right? So this is a flows. So who should learn Python? If you are a full stack developer, you can get into this. So experience with large scale distributed systems and large scale data processing solutions, including Hadoop and Cumulus. So therefore, if you have any kind of experience regarding this, you can get into this. Apart from that, you can also have the kind of an entrance into the kind of Python environment. If you are having a software containerization frameworks, and if you have worked upon on Docker. Apart from that, if you have worked upon on the service like APIs or external consumption and RESTful services, designs or development or testing, you can get into this. And also I have seen people who are working on DevOps basically are also getting imbibed by the Python programming languages, and they are being imbibed further by the companies, right? So you have experience of Jenkins, Git or Jira, then you can also get into this particular environment of the particular program, and therefore you can get into the Python programmings. Apart from that, if you talk about some of the experiences in terms of JavaScript libraries, jQuery you have performed, you have worked on Angular. I have seen so many people and interviewed so many people having the understanding of Angular, and then they do wonders in Python programming. So they also have the understanding of D3 and Leap, that kind of thing. Apart from that, if you are having HTML, CSS and CSS kind of aspects, you also can get into this. And if you have any scripting language including Java, Node or say Bash, you can just get into Python. And then yes, we have Jasmine, we have Django REST framework and Elasticsearch. These kind of experienced guys also get and make it in the arena of Python. And if you are a kind of backend engineer, then also you can get into Python, because if you have the experience into solid backend development skills or say Python or equivalent high-level languages experience. Apart from that, if you have good understanding of distributed systems and networks, you can get into this. Understanding of SQL and NoSQL, etc., you can get into this. And if you have a strong understanding of data security and access controls also, you can get into that kind of thing. So I have been understanding the client requirements, and now there is a huge demand in kind of the companies like Boeing and other aircraft manufacturers basically, which are requiring the data security and access control mechanism over there. So you can also get into this kind of aspects, and you can work on Python environment. They also prefer the same. And you should have experience in working with mobile clients and such kind of things. If you have, then you can again get into Python, right? But what if you are a fresher? So the freshers are also welcome here, and Basically, if you have to, if you are a fresher, you should ensure that you should do good research and good study of Python, right? And Web to Python framework you should get into before applying this kind of thing. And if I talk about the kind of projects, you complete 2 projects, that's going to be the image block and simple wiki, right? And you can just also email us the projects in a zip format or share the link to download, and web presence of the project will also get you bonus points from the understanding of web servers. So what I say that for freshers we can also have such kind of arrangements, and we can get in touch with our team, that's Magna Infotech, so that we can shape up your career. And I tell you that you're shaping up a career not in terms of getting the professional skills, but also understanding how to exactly have the feature of love and that kind of flavor of your usefulness in the entire world. For using this kind of platform, we can make it clear to you. Apart from that, you can get a kind of good satisfaction from the job, right? And apart from that, if I talk about if you are a fresher, you can also get into this. If you are we require kind of person having 6 months to 1 year experience in Python, right? And any one framework if you have worked upon. So knowledge of Web to Pipe framework will be an added advantage. Should have a good debugging and problem solving skills. That means we are in search of troubleshooters and not trouble seekers. And if I say you are expected to have a basic knowledge of Linux commands and have worked on Ubuntu or a kind of any flavor of Linux operating system, then also you are most welcome. And apart from that, person should have clear understandable communication and should be willing to communicate and coordinate with the internal team of the lawyers in helping them resolve their issues or any requests they want to perform on the server. Therefore, they also are welcome to the environment that's of Python. I have seen that how exactly AI is working on legal process outsourcing. So whatever use case I am discussing, you please go and check out how exactly natural language processing is working in the for the legal firms, right? And also I have said that all the aspects which I have seen, that's deep learning, then this also areas you can get into and you can make huge out there. Right, you can. So there are 3 things, basically to decide upon. First is opportunity, second is going to be the interest, and the third is the ability. Now it's your chance that how exactly you place the things. So this is this 3 things will be different for the 3 different people. If a person is from high income group, he'll keep the interest or she will keep the interest to the first one. If a person is from low or middle income group, so that particular person will be definitely going for the opportunity first, right? And if the person is not confident, he'll be talking about ability first. So right placement of these 3 things would be making you into a career like anything. So I repeat, interest, opportunity and ability, that's what you have to check. And third thing is that whenever we are with you, I mean the team Magna and Infotech is going to be with you for your career aspects, and you are getting into a kind of escape velocity, so that you can get into the free atmosphere where you can program Python freely. For that, what we are going to have is the mechanism by which you can earn, learn and contribute. So these 3 principles we can work upon to make you fit for the environment. Apart from that, if you are a test automation engineer, and the technical requirements which the particular environment looks forward is to be, you should have a good and strong in this experience and basically in manual automation testing. Should have an experience in data validation on cross-functional data-driven systems, experience in manual and automated testing in regression, integration and performance testing, excellent skills in querying large database systems. And apart from that, should be having a hands-on experience in SQL Server and any NoSQL system. And also you should have strong problem-solving skills, troubleshooting and tracing root cause, created automated test scripts to verify data structures, data values, data formats and basic performance, that is file comparison, prepare a schedule for your all test activities and the documents all bug issues for database, and implement all the test scripts for various projects. That also we look forward. And monitor automation processes and prepare defect status reports. That's also the kind of agenda we have. And apart from that, we are also looking forward for the person who can coordinate with the developers to provide efficient feedback, and on release of the quality. And apart from that, the last one, not the least one, but would be analyzing the current inventory of regression scripts and rectifying the inefficiencies. That's what exactly is being the technical requirements in terms of your test automation engineer. And the preferred skills would be basically manual testing, writing test plans, requirement analysis, automation experience using QTP or Selenium would be perfect, and strong knowledge in the scripting like C and Python and Java basically. So this exactly is the kind of the things which are which we should get into the Python. And if you are a data scientist, I strongly recommend you get into this kind of environment, because I said that the Python language is basically now, if you check out on the Google Trends, you'll see that mainly the data scientists are using it nowadays, because it's working all the three aspects of data science. So data science is basically a multidisciplinary field which talks about data integration. Then we have data analytics part, that is machine learning aspects, and then we have the third aspect, that is the data visualization. So these three things all together can be done very easily now with having Python integration. So this is the skill set which you are looking forward. So 3+ years experience in advanced degree in technical field, basically in stats, math or computer science desire, and strong grounding in the applied statistical model and a very strong grasp of statistical concepts has to be there, right? So you should have to you'll have to work in models and algorithms. Therefore, a statistical and machine learning background, if it's there, it's the best part which you can then you can use like anything the Python programming for. So strong level of proficiency in Python is preferred, otherwise R or similar language is desired. Willingness to dive deep and work on difficult and ambiguous problems with unknown outcomes. I tell you, this data science is working only when you target the right problem, right? So every problem can have multiple solutions, and every problem can have the solutions, right? So this particular problem, if it is wrong, whatever solution you provide to the problem is going to really get you in troubles, right? So therefore what I say, if you are having the particular problems, you should work out them genuinely, and you should identify the problems. That should be the utmost concern of any data scientist, basically. So that's a data-driven approach to resolve the particular problems, be it any area. So then ability to partner and work efficiently with partner teams and stakeholders is going to be critical over there, and therefore you should work on that. Understanding how to apply any kind of supervised, unsupervised, or say semi-supervised or reinforcement learning algorithm would be required. So you would have to have a kind of knowledge and understanding on logistic regression, random forest, right? Also a kind of the aspects that you can have geometric Brownian motion kind of studies, you can have neural networks, support vector machines, etc. And apart from that, if you are having RDBS and NoSQL kind of understanding, then also you can, so that you can write the queries to pull out the data from there, you can just get into that. And conceptual understanding of Hadoop and cloud computing like AWS, Amazon Web Services would be preferred. And demonstrated participation in contests like Kaggle is a plus. Experience in the e-commerce, marketplace, or supply chain area is going to be a plus for you. So therefore, if you talk about the kind of who you can be to get into the Python, therefore you say that if you are a data scientist, you can have these features and you can have these experience sets so that you can get into that. If you are a DevOps professional, then we are looking forward for a C++ kind of experience. Apart from that, we can have Java or C. You can also have the experience from the building up to tools like Ant. We have Gradle, we have Maven, MS Build, Ant, and experience in configuring SVN, Crucible, GitHub, Jira, that's Nexus, Artifactory, and Jenkins also would be add on. If I talk about the kind of public cloud experience, it could be in any of these areas. That would be AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, and virtualization experience in VMware, virtual machine could be basically the kind of add-on again. So scripting experience using Python, Perl, Ruby, JavaScript would also work out. And apart from that, experience in working in a continuous integration, continuous delivery ecosystem would also be a kind of plus for you people. And apart from that, what the expectations? The expectations are very simple: ability to learn and apply new technical skills and concepts quickly. How much you are adapted to this particular kind of environment, would the greater is the kind of success rate, and therefore we should work upon on your ability. Willingness also is to be checked out, right? And work on multiple projects simultaneously, right? As of now, I'm handling some around 20-21 projects. So therefore, you should have to work on multiple projects, not to that extent, at least two, three projects. You can have the portfolio of projects, right? Experience working within a team of people, and with the team environment you should work upon, and mentoring junior team members also, that could be the case. And good verbal and written communication skills is required, because it's all about how you convey the message. And if you don't have the kind of understanding on how to get into the communication channels, right communication channels, you may end up in nowhere, right? So therefore you should have good communication, and written verbal, whatever the communication we have should also follow the business etiquette for the same. Apart from that, you should be passionate for software engineering kind of things, so that you can get into this. And now let me come back to the MICS Python certification program, what we offer. So what are the kind of the programming aspects which we are going to have? That's going to be the agenda of today's session again. So to make you feel more comfortable how exactly you're going to work in future, let me have this kind of discussion, and after that when we will be discussing when to start this particular thing. So if I say now course curriculum about if I discuss something regarding the course curriculum, before I go into the course and curriculum, let me have some feedback. Are you having any query? Are you able to listen me properly? Right? It should not be like that. It would be a monotonous kind of thing, and you are understanding what I meant, right? All right. So thank you. We got some responses out there. All right, so I am getting an anonymous query over there, right? I'll come to that. Someone is working on you as a UI developer over there and having 6 years of experience, and the package is somewhere around 12 lakhs. So that package also should not be affected. And then, see, if you are a developer now, what I can suggest is you can get into you can get into what? You can get into this particular platform of data science, right? So that your package is also not affected and you can contribute a lot. So you have to again work on Python and along with the data science approach, then you can safeguard yourself, right? All the interest of yours would be safeguarded. That's what I can say as of now, right? Yeah, so let me come back to the presentation. I think everybody is there. So we have the kind of agendas for you. That's introduction to Python, and in this introduction to Python we'll be talking about what exactly is the Python environment basically, and how exactly we can download, install, and then we can work upon the environment in terms of interpreter model, or say we can use Anaconda, PyCharm, etc. There are so many things, right, by which we can integrate, or we can develop so many IDEs, so interactive development interfaces and environments for Python. So that we'll be seeing. Then we can talk about sequences and file operations, wherein we talk about mutable and immutable objects like strings, tuples, and we also discuss on strings, how to treat strings basically. Then also we discuss how exactly we can program the things for your dictionaries and can go for their operations, right? What are the operators which are available and how to operate these particular sequences over there. Apart from that, we'll be talking about the file operations also, how to get into input and output kind of mechanism, how to read file, write file, that kind of things are there. In deep dive, we go for functions, how we understand what are the conditional statements, what are the functions, what are the different types of functions available, how to create the kind of the statements, and how to work out on the control mechanism of functions. And also we compare object oriented programming versus the procedure oriented programming kind of thing, and then we can conclude the deep dive functions and loops by disclosing some of the commands wherein you can work on functions clearly and accurately. And then we talk about the handling modules and the exceptions as well as the errors part. So how exactly we can program errors and how you can use the try and pass kind of thing, that we show you in the kind of live tools and projects by handling the exceptions basically. And working with modules is nothing else but what are the built-in modules, what are the available modules within Python environment, what we can do with that. So therefore we talk about modules like stat and something. We can perform trigonometry, we can perform any kind of algebraic operation, we can perform any scientific operation on modules, and there are some built-in functions and modules inside. Therefore, we can show you that. Apart from that, we discuss NumPy and Pandas to make you aware of how exactly we can work on algebraic principles of numbers, arrays, matrices, and we also show you the mechanism of Pandas. Pandas is basically derived from panel data, and the name has been derived from panel and data. So panel data, I think everybody understands. We have 3 different types of data sets basically: time series, cross-sectional, panel. So when I say time series, one variable is time, the other is going to be any kind of variable which rotates around. So one is time series. If I have anything else apart from time, would be a cross-sectional, and if I have time series plus cross-sectional, it becomes panel. So panel data analysis basically could be done in Pandas. We can get into the data manipulation part as well using Pandas. And then we talk about data visualization. We can have data visualization by having C-bound libraries, or we can also get into the kind of libraries which are like SciPy for normal testing. And apart from that, major visualizations are basically from the Matplotlib, so therefore we discuss that aspect as well. Then we get into data manipulation kind of thing, wherein we talk about how exactly you can manipulate the data sets. You can have certain merging, the data merging, data frame merging kind of exercises which you can easily perform them. So data manipulation part would be there, right? The next one. And this data manipulation is very much important because 80% of the time you manipulate the data and 20% time is analytics. So therefore it's very important. Then GUI programming would be dealt in detail. And then we talk about web maps and representing information using plots. So that's going to be a self-paced exercise. Then also we go for computer vision using Yeah, so audience, are you able to listen me properly now again? I think there was some technical issue and all of a sudden it was off, right? So anyways, where were we? We are discussing something, right? What exactly are the benefit and the advantages of, thank you so much. So what are the advantages and benefits out of enrolling at MICS, right? That's Magna Infotech Career Services, right? So therefore, let me again have the presentation part and then we can discuss it, right? Just a second, give me a moment. All right, so we had discussed all the aspects regarding the requirements and how exactly to get started over there. So I was talking about some of the benefits, and now let me again check whether you people are able to listen properly and see the screen. Please mention in the chat box that whether you are okay with this. You are able to see the screen? Yeah, fine. Thank you so much. Thanks. All right, so we're discussing something regarding the benefits, and it's a very crucial aspect over there. So what you can do is we can just discuss the aspects over there. So what exactly are the benefits of enrolling at MICS? You know, it's we get a kind of lifetime access. First of all, whatever the things which we will be training you upon would be having the, you will be having the lifetime access to this. Yeah, so we were discussing that we can have this kind of working for you, right? We can discuss that what exactly would be the agendas so far in terms of the project workings. So I can, we will be giving you the platform wherein you can work for the projects which are going to be in the area of, say, let's have a kind of a live example for that. So we'll be working as a on a use case, and we will be operating like a data analyst, and you need to create a kind of model over there. And on the basis of the kind of the case study or the case slide which is there, you have to suggest which kind of algorithm would be best fit for this kind of environment. And so therefore the particular the mechanism of getting the kind of data sets integrated from the different departments. Basically, if I talk about employee data set, so we'll be checking out what are the principles and procedures to get the variables out there for the employees databases. So we say that business understanding also would be given to you in the problems which we deal, right? If you're not having any kind of management expertise, but that kind of domain understanding would be there if we get into the projects, because we'll be training you how exactly this particular employee data would be engineered, right? That features would be engineered. On what basis I select this are the variables which we should only use for prediction mechanism. So I want to predict that who's going to leave the job, right, and from my company in a couple of years, within a couple of months or a couple of weeks. So that I can do by using predictive algorithms. So this particular data set, if I talk about, would be comprising of the data sets from the departments, and this department data set would be basically, it could be unstructured and structured data both of the employees, and I'll be deciding upon whether I should get into a supervised learning algorithm or an unsupervised learning algorithm. And therefore, if I say this particular algorithm is the best suitable, I'll be modeling that algorithm by having appropriate training and testing mechanism. So if you just want to know how exactly the entire algorithm works, let me explain you. Suppose I'm going to check out the who's going to leave the job. I need to understand what makes a person to leave the job. So I'm talking about the behavioral aspects. Whenever you say that a person is hired, he's hired for his or his skill. If you are hired for a company, you are hired for your skill. But when you are fired for your behavioral aspects, right? So it's basically to understand your behavioral aspects, what are there. So you are not satisfied with the company's environment, you are not satisfied with your skill set, you are not being reviewed properly. So if I talk about the resignation part that you give, right? If I fire you, that is another thing. But if you are going from the company, I call it a kind of petition mechanism, right? You are proactively going from a company. So I need to inquire what makes you leave my company and my organization. So therefore, I can get into such kind of mechanisms and I can check it out by having appropriate algorithm. We have supervised, unsupervised, and so many algorithms are available today, so that you can process the algorithms, you can understand the system, that systematic approach, that what behavior the client this employee is having, and therefore you can model such kind of things and having appropriate training and testing mechanism. So I can use my past information of the employees to divide data into two parts. 70% I say I will be building on the model, and 30% I say I will be testing upon this particular employees, because without testing and training, you can't apply directly the model to the new employee over there, right? So you can predict that whether this particular employee has joined, when he would be leaving the organization on the basis of the traits which we have from the past. So therefore, we can see that we can build up the particular models over there. Not only this HR aspect, but if I say, you can also predict the churn prediction rate for your customer. So you can see that you can enter into BFSI segment, you can enter retail segment, healthcare aspects. You will be having use cases from different dimensions, right? Even the governmental departments, you can get the databases and you can predict so many things out of that. So we have the appropriate mechanisms for doing the things over there, and you will be seeing that the instructor will be guiding you for such use cases, and you will be able to develop the products and services as well. So you can get into the understanding of how exactly the recommender would work, and therefore you can see that the projects would be definitely helping you out to get the experience out there in the real-time scenario. And if I talk about the kind of aspects we have discussed a lot, again I'll give a quick review what we so over there. So we had started the particular discussion with the aspect that is the power of Python, and we had the discussions what is Python, what are the applications of Python, what are the related trends with respect to Python, who should go for this particular course, right? And then we say that what exactly is the kind of certification training program, the agenda which we have for you, and what are the benefits of enrolling at MICS, and the projects which we are going to handle over there in real-time scenario. for you. So therefore, we have discussed all such aspects. Python applications, we have discussed demand for Python, trends we have seen salary trends, we have seen who exactly should learn the Python. So I have shown you that if you are a full stack developer, these are the skill sets. If you are a backend engineer, you can use this, and you are a fresher, then also you can enter into this. And these are the aspects for the test automation engineers. Data scientists are working on these aspects, and therefore these are the skill set for the DevOps professionals. And apart from that, I have shown you the kind of the mechanism we are going to have, the scheduling we are going to have in the syllabus and curriculum, so that we can train you on that. And we said that we can start whenever you feel that it's the better time for you as per your opportunity, ability, and interest. And then we say that we have these kind of benefits out there, getting the lifetime access, class recordings, instructor-led interactive sessions, and multiple projects. And the project features are this: you can get into real-time scenarios where you can not only understand the data sets, but also you can understand business domain. So that's a kind of additional which can going to have. So as of now, I would like to thank you everyone, and if I'm open for the query, and if you have any, and we can discuss them at length, right? And also give me informal feedback exactly about the same. What exactly is the agenda in your mind? How I can help you out, and we can help you out at Magna. So that's what exactly is the agenda now. Yep. Any queries? You can get in touch with our team, right? So our team is there. Just you'll be getting in touch with the teammates over there. So I'll ask my teammates, to exactly get you into that. How exactly we can get into this, and how we should start your career along with the programming skills, right? And yeah. Yeah, we'll be giving you the training on basic syntaxing and the languages. So don't worry about that, right? And you can check out that the placement opportunities would be provided post-course completion, right? So let's complete the course, and then we can have an arrangement over there for you to get into the kind of placement opportunities, right?
Thank you, Ravi, and all our participants. You will receive a survey asking for feedback on this event. Your insights will shape future events such as this. You will send you a link to the recording of this event so that you can share it within your social networks. On behalf of Magna Infotech Career Services, thank you for joining us today. We hope you found this information and dialogue valuable, enhancing your understanding on Python. If you are interested to know more on this topic, do check out our courses on Magna Infotech Career Services portal. Be signing off and wishing all you a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.